Very good morning and a very warm welcome from Team Training and Education to all the participants. Today is our very special day. Today we will be completing our 50th webinar in this Gyan Ganga series. We have started our journey in lockdown period, and still in last 5 months we have completed 50 webinars. We will be completing today's 50th webinar. I request, I congratulate all Team Training and Education and ISLA Council for giving us this opportunity to conduct this webinar. I request my co-organizer, Mr. Samir Joshi, to say something about this. Your voice is not there, Samirji. Samirji, voice is not there.
Okay. Good morning, friends.
Yes.
Very warm welcome to our 50th webinar. Yes, today is a golden jubilee of our training and education webinar series. We have started in a lockdown, and now it's lockdown is over. At that time, we are not knowing what is the meaning of webinar and how it can be happened. We are not even knowing the platforms of the webinar. Even we are not knowing the difference between the webinar platform and the meeting platform. But yes, it is Sachin ji who has supported us very well to this participate this webinar. I am thankful to Mr. Sachin ji. I am thankful to entire ISLA training team for this support. I am sharing some data with you. We have a total 20,518 participants who have participated in our this webinars live. That is our members. Total members participate. This is the data is up to 48 webinar only, sir. We have more than 17,000 views in our ISLA YouTube channel. This is a big achievement, and image more than 400 hours our YouTube channel is watched by the entire public. We have engineering 13 webinar, fire we have 9, marine cargo 2, miscellaneous 4, motor 14, 5 general, that is GST, etc. 1 is legal, soft skill we have arranged 2 webinar, liability 1, and 1 webinar is of aviation. So it's a wonderful achievement by Team Training and ISLA, and thank you all of you that without your support it cannot be possible. Thank you very much.
So I request Mr. Suresh ji, our Chief Manager ISLA, to say something on this occasion.
Very good day, very happy Sunday. Right from the lockdown time, ISLA Training Center has been putting all its efforts to give the training session and imparting technical skills to the participants. In the process of conducting the webinar, in the absence of physical training sessions, there were initially few hitches which we could overcome, and with all of our participation and enthusiasm, we were able to complete 50 sessions of webinar. I heartily congratulate Sachin and the team for the wonderful efforts they have made it a success, and would like to see that many more milestones are achieved in this coming year. Hopefully 150, 50, 50, 50, 150 till March end. And we had a wonderful faculty who voluntarily come forward to impart the training in all the departments. Though working in head office, we were busy with our own work. We were able to devote time for giving our contribution for the training session. I would like to invite many of the senior surveyors to come forward, provide their presentation, take forward the training center in a wonderful way. Thank you all. Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Suresh ji. I will request our team member, Mr. Ramesh Babu.
Sir.
Mr. Ramesh Babu.
Sir. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
Ramesh Babu.
Yes,
Good morning,
sir.
sir.
Good morning. Very good morning, all of you. I'm very glad to be a participant and a panelist of this Gyan Ganga 50th session, which is going to be taken care by Sri R.P. Gupta. I am conveying my heartfelt wishes to Gupta sir, and I am very thankful to Sachin ji, who has who has who is the uh, team leader, organizer, and designer for this Gyan Ganga series, who has explained us and guided us how to organize these sessions and how to participate in the webinars right from our Coimbatore training session itself. And I seen so far we got a very good response from all the members, and I expect uh, all the members desire will be fulfilled, like professional guidance and the education and the enrichment of knowledge, etc. Through this platform. And I hope, and my participation will always be there. I assure to all the team. Wherever necessary, I will be there. And I thanks to the training education Islam, training and education, and Sachin ji, Samit ji, and the entire team, T3 team of Islam education. And all the best to R.P. Gupta sir. Thank you very much.
So thank you, team, Mr. Ramesh Babu, Mr. Samir Joshi, Mr. Suresh sir. Now I request today's our faculty, Mr. R.P. Gupta. He is also one of the team member of Team Training and Education, to start with today's session. After this session, we will take the members' opinion, members' feedback on this webinar series, so that we can conduct very well in future. So I request Mr. Gupta sir to start today's session.
Thank you, Mr. Sachin. Thank you, today's panelists, and good morning to all. As a matter of fact, I feel myself to be a lucky one who got a chance to deliver the 50th webinar of the series. So I hope everybody will benefit from these webinars. So we will start with this for our today's topic. Show screen, yes. How to, Sureji, how to show the screen?
Today's screen is visible.
Okay, screen is visible.
Yeah.
Screen is visible, sir.
Screen is sharing, sir. Yes. Continue, sir.
Okay. So we start today's topic, Indian motor tariff endorsements. These endorsements we would be covering 21, 23 and 47, along with some part of nil debt clauses. With a view to India motor tariff endorsements, with a view to standardize the policy wording and its conditionalities, IMT designed a total of 65 endorsements. Some of these are compulsory for certain class of policies or vehicles, and some are optional. As a matter of fact, I had sent my presentation only for IMTs 21, 23 and 47, which are mostly encountered by surveyors and are prevailing as most confusing in our practice. So our plan of study today would be, number one, IMT 21 and its scope. 2, IMT 23, its salient features and reporting format. 3. IMT 23 and zero depth covers. Then IMT 47 and its interpretation. So this will be our today's plan of study. IMT 21. Its name is Special Exclusions and Compulsory Deductible. That in itself explains that it has got two sections. IMT 21. It is applicable to all commercial vehicles, excluding taxis and motorized two-wheelers, which are carrying passengers for hire or reward. So any commercial vehicle other than taxis and commercial two-wheelers, this IMT 21 is compulsorily applicable. First part is special exclusions. A, we call it A, except in the case of total loss of the vehicle insured. As a matter of fact, these special exclusions will not apply in total loss cases. The insurer shall not be liable under Section 1 of the policy for loss of or damage to lamps, tire tubes, mudguards, bonnet side parts, bumpers, and paintwork. Actually, as you see here, I have clubbed the different words which are conveying one single meaning by underlines. Lamps, tire tubes combined together, mudguards, bonnet side parts. Now, as a matter of fact, in this endorsement, they have not put any comma or full stop, and there was some confusion. Some people were just picking up bonnet also as one of the special exclusions. But when we see, as you know, that we have to find out order out of the chaos, and since there is no comma or full stop in these words, so we have to just find out the sense. If we single out bonnet, then side parts would not have any meaning. It cannot be that both the sides of the vehicle would be excluded. It cannot be. So bonnet side parts are interconnected and parts onto the sides of the bonnet, left and right both. So bumpers, single word, and paintwork, again, these are two words giving one sense, paintwork. So we will just discuss and see what is the meaning of these words. Here, lamps, tire tubes, mudguards. Lamps include every kind of lamp, whether it is headlight, fog light, indicators, or for that matter of fact, even lights inside the passenger body of the bus, tail lights, and any kind of lamp that is included in the word lamps. Tires and tubes, self-explanatory. Mudguards, yes, we can have mudguards like this at the front and here. And then bonnet side parts, bumpers and paintwork. Bonnet side parts, as you may recall, even now these S model of Tata vehicles are there, but they are small in numbers. Actually, these have been taken over by LPT and other designs. So for this design, as you see, in the center is the bonnet, and anything onto the side of the bonnet, we also call these as side bonnet or mudguard. So if we treat this as mudguard, then this will be मेरा seminar so these side mudguards, including these marker headlights, incidentally headlights are another exclusion. So these bonnet parts, even this fender, this will also fall under exclusions, whether as bonnet side part or in its own exclusion. Bumpers, and they are used to be in the vehicles in older designs. Bumpers at low cost, bumpers, metallic bumpers, and which used to take up any impact or scratches or day-to-day this thing, so that the whole vehicle is saved, and bumper can be replaced at low cost periodically or repaired periodically, as the case would be. But bumpers nowadays, bumpers are coming very classic and very costly also. So we will discuss that also. Otherwise, paint work, all this cabin and body and this bonnet, etc. This total paint work is also falling under exclusion of 21. Now we will see bumper versus FUPD. A recent development in motor technology has been there, that they have been providing these FUPD, front under protection device, and this is in front as well as in the rear, and in some vehicles they are also giving at the sides. So under protection device, anything other than the vehicle may not get down into the under the vehicle and get damages or something very unfortunate could happen. So this was just to avoid that kind of give under protection to the third persons or third party objects. So these, as a matter of fact, bumper is the old exclusion as per the designs of that time, and FUPD is entirely a different version. So in my opinion, we should not confuse FUPD as bumper. So FUPD should be taken as any other part of the vehicle. And on my own part, I'm practicing it as any other part of the vehicle and not an exclusion. Bumper versus front fascia. Nowadays, front fascia has gone very classic, very technology savvy. इसको वाइब्रेशन पे करना. So this front fascia, as you see in this bus, there is no bumper. Bumper has vanished. It has not even merged with the bumper. If you see the previous slide, in this bus, there is a contour of that gives you an impression of bumper. Bumper part is there, but the whole fascia starting from the front windscreen is going up down to the bumper sort of level, and this contour in the fascia gives you the impression of bumper. So in this case, we can take part of cost of this whole fascia, say 20% or 25% towards bumper, and assess it accordingly. But definitely not in this design, because there is no, I would say, there is no scope of any bumper here. They have just provided complete fascia. So it is up to the surveyor, the insurers and others to think about, to analyze the things under the policy terms and conditions as to what to be done, which is right for everybody, all the stakeholders, insured as well as the insurer. So that was A part of IMT 21. Now we have B part. This is compulsory deductible. In addition to any amount which the insured may be required to bear under para A, which we have already discussed, the insured shall bear under section 1 of the policy in respect of each and every event, including event giving rise to total loss, constructive total loss. See, special exclusion was only for partial loss, not for total loss or constructive total loss. But this part B is for total loss also. The first rupees of any expenditure. So this first rupees is excess clause, as you popularly know, everybody knows excess clause is there. So here in the policy endorsement, an amount is to be inserted. That amount is as per GR 40 of the tariff. So GR 40 of the tariff, we will have a glance at this. They have given total for all the vehicles different excess clauses or compulsory deductibles. In commercial vehicles, this falls under 21, and in private cars and others, this falls under endorsement 22. So they have given for commercial vehicles, goods carrying vehicles, passenger carrying vehicles. Goods carrying vehicles have been divided into 3 categories: not exceeding 7,500 kg, between 7,500 kg and 16,500 kg, and exceeding 16,500 kg. This is gross vehicle weight. And similarly for passengers, not exceeding 17 passengers, 17 to 36 passengers, and exceeding 36 passengers. So the excess clause or compulsory deductible for all these classes is 500, 1,500. So for class D commercial vehicles, it is 0.5% of IDV of the vehicle, subject to a minimum of rupees 2,000. So for class D commercial vehicles, special type of vehicles, we have to be careful about excess clause, which is entirely different from goods carrying and passenger carrying vehicles. For E, F, and G, again there is a different compulsory deductible, rupees 50 for two-wheelers and rupees 500 for others. Taxis and three-wheelers, these are then clubbed with capacity of the engine 1500, not exceeding 1500 cc and exceeding 1500 cc. So likewise it is there for private cars, as most of us know, because these cars come into our practice quite often. For not exceeding 1500 cc, it is 1000. Exceeding 1500 cc, it is 2000. So motorized two-wheelers, it is 100. So this compulsory excess has to be inserted under endorsement 21, which states compulsory deductible. So as far as the 21 is concerned, there is no confusion, because certain exclusions are there, excess clause is there, so everybody can go with this, and there is no problem as such, except for some definition of exclusions, special exclusions. So that we have already discussed and cleared. Now come to IMT 23. IMT 23 wording states cover for lamps, tires, tubes. See here, they have done some improvement, that the words falling within one meaning, they have just put a slash between them. So tires, tubes, that is one class. Mudguards, one. Bonnet, side parts. So they have just clubbed bonnet with side parts. Bumpers, headlights. See here, I have put them in red. And lamps include headlights, but somehow or the other, I don't know, in this they have just maybe for clarification or something, they have included headlights separately, other than lamps, headlights. Maybe because nowadays, though in private cars only, but in commercial vehicles also, there may come LED lights with blasters and other electronic equipment. So they have just put separately this word headlights also, and paintwork. of damaged portion only. So IMT 23 is to cover all the exclusions of IMT 21. So that is the thing. Now let us see what is the wording of IMT 23. In consideration of payment of an additional premium, here we provide this cover on additional premium payment. And this is normally 15% of the own damage premium of the vehicle. It is hereby understood and agreed that subject to conditions A, B, and C. See, this cover is having its own conditions A, B, and C. We will discuss later on. Here under loss of or damage, and another exclusion is there, excluding theft under any circumstances. 2. Lamps, tire tubes, mudguards, bonnet side parts, bumpers, headlights, and paintwork of the damaged portion only is covered, provided the vehicle is also damaged at the same time. This is another condition of this IMT 23, which states that special exclusions, if themselves are damaged, maybe in the accident, and there is no damage to the vehicle other than these special exclusion parts, then this IMT 23 does not provide any cover. So these are the conditionalities also. And what are the conditions A, B, and C? A provides for depreciation as per schedule provided in section 1 of the policy. This depreciation is to be applied as per the main policy section 1 or GR 9. It is further understood and agreed that in respect of paint work for the damaged portion only, as referred to above, shall also be as per schedule provided in section 1 of the policy. So this was the confusion area. And earlier, my older friends will recall that there used to be no depreciation on private cars painting, and likewise on commercial vehicles also. And in commercial vehicles, of course, painting was excluded under exclusion number 21 of endorsement 21. But in this case, when it is specifically providing for depreciation on painting, so some surveyors were just applying 50% of the painting cost, as it was considered to be some kind of plastic material or something like that. And some were applying just on the age of the vehicle. So that was confusion 1 before the advent of NILDAP and others, and depreciation on painting also. But later on, IRDA amended the whole tariff, and they provided depreciation clause for painting also, whether in private vehicles or in commercial vehicles. So that matter stands now resolved, and depreciation is no confusion. It can be applied as per the depreciation clause of the tariff. B part is condition is, in addition to any amount which the insured may be required to bear under para A above, under A, that is depreciation, the insured shall also bear 50% of the assessed loss. See here, this is another deduction from the assessment, which is 50% of the assessed loss. I have put it in bold, assessed loss. We have to be mindful on this. In later part of my presentation, we will come to the importance of this assessed loss also. So this 50% of the assessed loss, that means as per condition B, we will be paying only excess of 50% of the assessed loss. So it is a kind of excess. By any stretch of imagination, this 50% deduction cannot be in any way called a depreciation. Depreciation is there in section A only, and B, it cannot be called a depreciation. So there was a confusion. People used to say we have to apply 2 depreciations, we have to apply 3 depreciations and all this, and that nomenclature of depreciation for this 50% deduction, that caused the confusion. Or some people in their assessment, a headlight costing 100 rupees, they will just assess it for 50 rupees. They will leave the 50% deduction to imagination of the processing person or the person who is scrutinizing the report. That kind of situation we will discuss later in this presentation. So please note this, that 50% of the assessed loss is to be deducted. In a way, it is an excess in respect of each and every claim under this endorsement. This word is also to be noted, under this endorsement. Whatever is the assessment under this endorsement of IMT 23, we have to apply 50% deduction on the assessed loss. C is, this is not a condition, rather I would say this is a clarification. It is also understood that no deductible other than those mentioned in A and B, which we have already discussed, shall be applicable in respect of a claim which becomes payable under this endorsement. Again, under this endorsement. So people used to charge excess clause, say 1500, which is very common in commercial vehicles. So there was confusion as to whether that 1500 is to be charged here also under this endorsement also, or not to be charged in the main policy itself. So that kind of confusion, of course, with the passage of time, it got cleared now. I don't think, but still some surveyors who are freshly joining the profession, they may have such doubts in their mind. So we clear this. This is a clarification condition which says that no other deductible will be applicable under for assessment under this condition number 23. So now we come to salient features of IMT 23. We will, after discussing the endorsement 23 itself, it is very interesting to sum up its salient features. One, endorsement covers the parts accepted under IMT 21, provided the vehicle is also damaged at the same time. This is very important. So it has its own subject matter to insure. IMT 23 has got its own subject matter like any other policy. It has its own premium, which is 15% of the own damage premium of the vehicle. 3, it has its own exception. Cover is except for theft under any circumstances. So this has got its own exception. 4th, coverage is subject to depreciation on parts as per section 1 of the policy, GR 9 of the tariff. So this is also a salient feature. 5, it provides for the insured to bear 50% of the amount assessed under the clause of IMT 23. This is the confusion area, as we have already discussed. Excess clause of IMT 23, I will call it. So that will put the matter straight. Whenever we discuss, we have discussions on IMT 23 or on our assessment on under IMT 23. If we call it excess clause of IMT 23, this will clear the matter to a lot. Number 6, it is also understood that no deductible other than those mentioned in A and B shall be applicable in respect of a claim which becomes payable under this endorsement. So this is another salient feature. Number 7, subject otherwise to the terms, conditions, limitations, and exceptions of the main policy. That means it is subject to perils covered under the main policy, MDL, driver clause, and all of those conditions so are applicable to assessment under endorsement 23 also. Number 8, IMT 23 is a separate policy for IMT 21 parts within the main policy for the vehicle. So this I put as a 8th salient feature of IM 2023. That is, it is a separate policy for IMT 21 parts within the main policy for the vehicle. So it should be assessed separately, in my opinion, and I'm also practicing it in my reports, that it should be assessed separately in a section of assessment to avoid any confusion. Normally we assess separately for parts and labor. Standard format is there, lately designed by GIPSA GIC for easy processing of the claims. So section A and B, so there should be a separate section, say C. For convenience of the processing person, we can mark such parts in the estimate as IMT 23 parts. So we will now see the assessment format for IMT 23. So this is the A section where we assess parts normally, and B for labor. Let us make another section C. This is assessment under endorsement 23. So here again we will have the same thing: estimated, assessed. Assessed are classified in rubber, others, and painting. So bumper, here we assess bumper 7390, both headlamps 7000. I don't write, if both headlamps are costing 7000, I don't write here 3500 and leaving the things to imagination. I will just assess it as per the estimate and as per the invoice. If the price is 7000, I will take it as 7000. Painting and mudguards. This example I have taken from my main reports, where I have assessed for a cabin of a commercial vehicle, say 4018. There the cost of cabin was 3,05,000. So I deducted for painting and mudguards at 10% of the cost, that is 30,500. So here when I assess under IMT 23, I am taking, just for convenience, dividing this into painting and mudguards on 50-50 basis. So here mudguards are put under others because these are considered to be metallic, and painting under painting section. So I apply depreciation on plastic, 10% on others, and 12.5% on painting. So this way I add up total assessed for C, add up, and here I deduct 50% under the endorsement. So this 50% is very clear, and it is this whole assessment sheet is clear to processing person, clear even to the insured. If he happens to question your assessment, he will understand everything, and it is as per the endorsement itself. So this such a format will leave no scope for any confusion at any stage of our assessment or claim settlement. Now we will come nil-debt claim guide of NIC on commercial vehicle. National Insurance Head Office had issued a claim guide because there was confusion on IMT 23 as well as nil-debt. So this was a simple nil-debt where we had to not charge depreciation, but nil-debt 23 was also there, nil-debt clause is also there. So in national insurance premium designs, NIC claim guide describes nil-debt under two conditions. When IMT 23 is not opted. So when it is not opted, it is very clear, all special exclusions have to be excluded from assessment, and depreciation to be added back to the assessment. As many friends may be knowing it, that insurance companies, even in nil-debt policies, they demand assessments with depreciation, and then they tell us that you add back the depreciation, whatever you have deducted in the assessment. This is perhaps, to my mind, not to trouble the surveyor and just to apply depreciation and then add back the depreciation, but this is just to collect data as to how much nil debt premium is being collected by the insurance company and how many claims are being paid in terms of depreciation. So this is how they want that you should assess the loss even in under nil debt clause, like non-nil debt, and then add back the depreciation. So this is one fundamental requirement of the insurance companies, even though they are not enforcing it quite forcefully. People, at least I'm giving straight away, not charging any depreciation and giving my assessments. But in future, this may be enforced vigorously. So second option is there in the National Insurance Company nil debt clause when INT is also opted. So here comes the confusion. In this case, the claim is to be assessed as per one above here like this, and the loss under endorsement 23 is also to be assessed as I have already given the format. In this section also nil debt would apply and we would add back the depreciation. So these are two conditions. This claim guide explains as to how to proceed with depreciation. We will see it further. This is the title page of the National Insurance Claim Guide, which is under the title National Insurance Company Limited Nil Depreciation Add-on to Commercial Vehicle Package Policy Claims Guide. So this is the claims guide. We have taken it for analysis and incidentally, there happens to be a mathematical error in treatment of for assessment, so which we will be discussing right now. So there is a case study of the claim guide. Age of the vehicle, say a truck, 1 year, 6 months, that is between 1 and 2 years. Depreciation applicable on other parts other than glass, plastic and fiber is 10%. So here they say this case study is replacement of metal parts, applicable depreciation on metal parts 10%. Okay, we have already discussed. These parts are worth 40,000 assessment. Batteries damaged 50% payable, 10,000 cost of batteries. Replacement of tires, tubes 15,000. Damage to bonnet side parts, mudguards and headlamps 10,000. Replacement of other plastic and rubber parts 10,000. So for the sake of convenience and easy analysis, we take only IMT 23 parts. That means tires and tubes and bonnet side parts, mudguards, etc. So we will be taking these two things only for better understanding. Here is what we have done as per the claim guide. We have taken different ages of the vehicle. This is 1 year, 6 months as per the claim guide. We have also assessed for the same vehicle if it were age within 6 months, that means 0 depreciation, and age 2 years, 6 months, that means age between 2 and 3 years, depreciation 15%. So in this case, we find for tires and tubes, depreciation is 50% and the depreciated amount is 7,500. And if without add-on we assess for this, it will be just 50% of assessed amount. That means 15,000 minus 7,500, and divided by 2, it becomes 3,750. So this is without add-on cover. Add-on means nil debt cover. This is without nil debt cover. So this is without NILDAP, and this is with NILDAP. You will see here, if we calculate like this, A minus B plus B into 50%. And this is correct. I'll go to this was this thing. As per the claim guide, this is A minus B 50%. Then we add back depreciation. Here, this comes for vehicle within 6 months of age. The assessment comes 16,250. For age between 2 and 3 years, it comes to 16,750. 16,750, and age between 2 and 3 years, it comes to 17,000. So that means we are paying under NILDAP more for old vehicle, which is an anomaly. It should not be. If NILDAP is there, for irrespective of the age of the vehicle, we should pay the same amount. But here, as per the claim guide, we are paying different amounts. So now you will see here that there is a mathematical error in this treatment, where we are deducting 50% from the assessed amount A minus B after depreciation. But in this case, NILDAP is there. Assessed amount will not be A minus B. Assessed amount will be A only. But we are deducting from A minus B 50% excess, which will come out to be lesser. We are deducting lesser amount and then adding back the depreciation. That gives the whole error. This is a mathematical error, and we land up paying more for the old vehicle and less for the new vehicle. So now let us see what should be the correct treatment of this. So here what we do is, even if we have to adopt the same format, that depreciation is to be first deducted and then added back. What we will do here is that we will deduct depreciation and then add back here itself before charging or deducting 50% of the assessed loss. Here, as I told you in my earlier discussion, I asked you to note down this word, assessed loss. Assessed loss under endorsement 23. Assessed loss, if NILDAP clause is there, is not A minus B, but it is A minus B plus B. So here we treat it like this, and we find that we pay same amount to new vehicle, same amount to old vehicle. So it comes out to be 12,500 for any age of the vehicle. Same, and let us see what we had paid as per claim guide. This was 16,750 against 12,500. So that is a mathematical error. I don't know how many are following the claim guide, because I also happen to get this claim guide only at the request of Baroda people. When I happen to be at Baroda as a faculty, there was a request from the organizers that please discuss this claim guide also, which is causing confusion to many of the surveyors. So at that time, I had prepared it and analyzed it, and then realized that there was a mathematical error. And through the platform of ISLA and ISLA Education and Training Department or other team, I would be very happy if we can point out this thing to National HO, so that the things can be put straight. Now let us see final assessment of format as per claim guide versus actual clause. We have already discussed it, but I will again go through this. This is as per NIC guideline in the same format as I have given for endorsement 23. So here total assessed 7,500 plus 9,000, 16,500 less 50% under the endorsement 8250. So add back depreciation under nil dep clause 8,500. So it comes out to be 16,750. But as per my analysis, it should have been like this: 7,500 plus 9,000, 8,500. Add back here itself. Add back depreciation 8,500. It comes to 25,000. Less 50% under the endorsement 12,500. So the net less assessed loss is 12,500. So this is the anomaly that should requires to be put straight. So now let us come to zero depreciation of New India Assurance Company. They have actually given an alternative to IMT 23. They are not taking up 23 as well as zero debt. They are only providing, say, only 23. If whosoever wants to opt for 23, he can take 23 at 15% of the own damage premium of the vehicle. Or alternatively, if they want to have zero depreciation, so they have New India has devised 3 covers of zero depreciation, zero exclusion. So cover for depreciation as well as 100% special exclusion of IMT 23 under 3 options. They have given 3 options. A, zero dep, zero exclusion. Coverage of depreciation on damaged parts in respect of partial losses plus 100% of special exclusions of IMT 21 of India Motor Tariff 2002 without deduction of depreciation. So this is 1, 0, A. They call it A cover of zero dep. Then B cover of zero dep is zero, and in A dep, now let me again repeat it. Here we are just assessing the loss just like a private car, because there is no question of IMT 21. It says 100% of special exclusions of IMT 21, and there is no depreciation on in partial loss. So everything is to be paid like a private car assessment. B cover is zero depreciation on damaged parts in respect of partial losses payable under a normal policy. So here IMT 21 is there. That applies, and excluding those things, we apply zero depreciation on normal policy. So this is also very clear. C is zero exclusion. Here it says coverage of 100% of special exclusions of IMT 21 of India Motor Tariff. It covers only exclusions 21. 100% means there will be no depreciation on IMT 21 part exclusion parts. But there will be depreciation on normal parts of the main policy. So, but I had also gone through the premium rating for these 3 covers. I have come to know, just for instance, if there is 33% premium charge for this, 33% of the own damage premium of the vehicle. It is 33 here in one case. It is only 3% here and 30% here. So I think this option is very good at 33%. Though this is premium charges is not within the scope of my coverage. This is just a passing reference to that. Now, nil dep by United India and Oriental Insurance Companies. In United India and Oriental Insurance, they have waived 50% deduction under IMT 23 in their nil depth clause in addition to nil depth. So this they have gone with the competition, and first I think Oriental had done it, and then United India also have done it, and they have issued a circular to their operating offices that no 50% deduction, and that means this 50% excess, which I call excess under IMT 23, is to be made if there is nil depth clause. So this is clarified and there is no confusion. Now let us come to IMT 47. This is another clause which is causing confusion. Actually, IMT 47 is compulsory for some vehicles. So we will first discuss its application. Commercial vehicle tariff groups. There are 7 tariff groups for commercial vehicles in the Indian motor tariff. Goods carrying vehicles, trailers, passenger carrying vehicles, miscellaneous and special types of vehicles. Actually, the vehicles which attract IMT 47 are part of this D group, miscellaneous and special types of vehicles. There is a list in the tariff also which describes various vehicles that fall under miscellaneous and special types of vehicles. Recently, IRDA has excluded some vehicles like tippers or refrigeration vehicles from this miscellaneous class, but still there is a comprehensive list in the tariff. E, motor trade road transit risk. F, motor trade road risk. G, motor trade internal risk. So this IMT 47 is pertaining to these some vehicles that fall under D. Which are those vehicles applicable to D class miscellaneous and special types of vehicles? These are mobile cranes. These are specifically listed in the tariff. Mobile cranes, drilling rigs, mobile plants, excavators, navies, shovels, grabs, reapers. These are all special kinds of earth moving equipments like excavators, but they have special kind of working tools with them. Now, logic behind IMT 47 seems to be, as per my analysis, it seems to be increased probability of overturning while working as a tool due to 2 factors that come to my mind. One is by providing the structure of these working tools, it takes the center of gravity to a higher position due to the tooling part. That is higher center of gravity due to tooling part. And second part and most important part is action as a tool involves forces beyond the body of the vehicle that cause destabilization, that may cause destabilization. We will see in following illustrations. This is a mobile crane. Here, when it is lifting a load over here, there is a cantilever, and especially this boom is telescopic. This can be extended to more higher lengths, and that cantilever that is causing any weight to be lifted. So counter lifting force has to be applied by this hook. So this force is acting on the body of the crane beyond its own body. So it has got some destabilizing effect, though it is taken up in the design of the crane itself, but still by providing counterweights and other things. But still there is a destabilizing factor while it is working as a tool. This is very important. Please note it down that while it is working as a tool, in normal condition, this telescopic, this is clubbed together and to the minimum length and in transport position, and there is no problem with this. So while working as a tool, there is similarly for drilling rig, when this operating tool is working away from the body of the vehicle, so exerting pressure for drilling and all this, so destabilizing forces are acting on this vehicle also when it is working as a tool. Combine harvester, this is a very good example of mobile plant. This reel is rotating at quite a good speed. Elevator is there, straw walkers are there, engine is mounted at the top. Then there is a grain tank of about 20 tons or so, 20 quintals rather, tons, quintals, cabin and all these things. Then when it is working as a tool, there are definitely certain forces beyond the body of the combine. This is a combine harvester in its transport mode. When it is just this cutter bar is just mounted at the back of this in a trailing position, and this is the quite stabilized form of combine harvester in its transport mode. Now take this case of excavator. When this bucket or this tool is working away from the body of this vehicle, it is definitely causing certain destabilizing forces. Now let us see what is IMT 47. It is hereby declared and agreed, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in this policy, that in respect of the vehicle insured, the insurer shall be under no liability. So what is this condition? Under section 1 of this policy, in respect of loss or damage resulting from overturning arising out of the operation as a tool of such vehicle, whether the plant forming part of such vehicle or attached thereto or directly, this overturning arising out of the operation as a tool of such vehicle is not covered due to this by this IMT 27, except for loss or damage arising directly from fire, explosion, self-ignition, or lightning, or burglary, or theft, or housebreaking. And this means that even if overturning is there, which is not covered by virtue of this IMT 47, but there is some loss coupled by fire, explosion, self-ignition, or lightning, or burglary, then that peril result is payable under the policy. So this is an exception to this IMT 47 itself. Number two, second part of this IMT is that the same exception will apply in case of third party loss also. It is not only for own damage, but for third party loss also. This IMT 47 is applicable. However, under Motor Vehicle Act 1988, the insurer is to honor the judgment of the claim tribunal if any award is given to the third party victim. They have to pay to the third party victim under Motor Vehicle Act 1988, irrespective of whether they are liable under the policy or not. If they are not liable, as in case of IMT 47, then they have a right to recover it from the insured. They have to make good payment to the third party, but they have a right to recover it from the insured. So this IMT 47 applies to own damage of the vehicle as well as TP loss of the vehicle. If the loss happens to be due to overturning while working as a tool. So package policy issued to the above units can be extended to cover. Now this is another provision within the same IMT 47. in IMT 21 and 23, we have seen that IMT 21 excludes and IMT 23 provides cover for the same. But IMT 47 excludes, then it also provides cover of the same exclusion by payment of additional premium. And this additional premium is 0.5% of the IDV of the vehicle, subject to a minimum additional premium of rupees 100. So, but just by saying or looking at the policy that IMT 47 is listed in the policy, we cannot say whether the loss is excluded or covered, because if it is excluded, IMT 47 is to be compulsorily applied to commercial vehicle of a particular vehicle. But it also provides for coverage, and if additional premium is paid, coverage is there. Even then, this IMT 47 will be figuring in the policy. So we cannot say IMT 47 is applied, so loss is excluded. No, we have to see in the schedule of the premium whether additional premium has been paid or not. If not paid, then it is an exclusion. If paid, it is not an exclusion. So this is another point of confusion. IMT 47 interpretation. So now let us strive at interpreting the IMT 47. Just as salient features of IMT 23, we have derived certain points as part of its interpretation. It excludes any loss or damage to the vehicle that arises out of overturning of the vehicle due to operation of its tool or plant. Please see, I have highlighted it in bold, due to operation of its tool or plant. Whether such tool or plant is part of the vehicle or is attached to the vehicle. So inference of this is that if the vehicle overturns just in its transport mode, that is, it is not, while it is not working as operation of its tool, then IMT 47 is not applying, then the loss of overturning is payable. This is what I infer from this. If an excavator overturns while digging or lifting of the load or working on a structure, its loss is excluded. However, if it overturns while just moving as a vehicle and not doing a job of excavator, the loss is covered, just as I have explained to you earlier. Third is, loss is also covered if it is due to other perils of the policy like fire, explosion, self-ignition or lightning or burglary or theft, even when accompanied by overturning due to operation of its tool. This means any loss attributable to overturning will not be paid, but any loss attributable to fire, explosion or other these perils listed here, that is payable, even if IMT 47 excludes overturning. Under section 2, liability to third parties, this peril as described in 1 above is not covered. So third party we have already discussed. However, the insurer is to meet the requirements of Motor Vehicle Act 1988 that requires payment of TP compensation by the insurer as adjudicated, and he has a right to recover such payment from the insured. So this is what we have discussed it already. As usual, we have two acknowledged references which I have used for preparation of this presentation. So this is India Motor Tariff Advisory Committee, General Insurance, Principles of Insurance, IC01 Insurance Institute of India, Motor Insurance, IC72 Insurance Institute of India, and then Google search for illustrations and other clarifications wherever I could do. So that completes my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gupta
Right,
sir.
sir?
Thank you. Thank you, Gupta sir. Thank you very much for this very important session for motor surveyors, because many surveyors make mistake in IMT 21, 23 and 47. So I think it is now fairly all the surveyors understood about this clauses and how to interpret them, right? Also, we will take,
Right.
as you suggested, we'll take this matter of a national insurance company as a how they can reduce their loss, they can minimize their loss. Just because they have issued the circular, they are incurring more loss on that, right? So we will take up that
Right.
matter also with the GIS Council as well as the IID and National Insurance Company.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So we request all the members also to give their opinions, suggestions on training@isla.net. You can ask the question related to this on training@isla.net. Now we will take some few questions. We'll have Mr. Avinash Lingarkar.
Sir, how to come on screen?
Yeah, you are there, sir, in the screen. You have to just
Sir,
close your
please
presentation.
stop your screen sharing.
Stop the
Screen sharing. Okay. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Avinash Lingarkar, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Sir, in my screen, I am not coming. Okay, is it possible? As
Sir, your screen is sharing, so we can see you, but you cannot see see yourself.
okay.
If you,
Earlier, I was.
if you can stop your screen sharing, it is visible to all.
Yes, I've done it. Achha, okay. Okay.
I am unmuting one by one. So members are requested who has raised their hand to unmute themselves and ask the question. Mr. Rajmani Sharma. Sir, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, Mr. Rajesh Gupta, you can ask the question.
Very good afternoon, Gupta Sahab. Rajesh
Good
Gupta
afternoon,
from
sir.
Kannur.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have come across a query. New
Yes,
India, they have issued a policy for a desire as a
Sir,
गुप्ता जी आप अनम्यूट हो रहे हैं बार बार आप
मैं
हाँ जी,
अनम्यूट
बोलिए।
हो रहा हूँ।
नहीं राजेश गुप्ता, आप भी गुप्ता है, वो भी गुप्ता जी।
Sir, I am audible.
Yes, you are audible. Ask the question.
Gupta Sahab,
Yes, sir.
New India has issued a policy for a desired taxi vehicle,
Right.
specifically mentioning the IMTs as 7, 17, 22, 23, 35. So that, as per me, it is a wrong underwriting because
Right.
23 should not come in it. But when a contract is there, so can you guide the surveyors how they have to go for the assessment of the loss? It is a
Yes,
wrong
sir.
underwriting, mentioning a wrong endorsement in that policy.
Right. I think in such a scenario, I will just first discuss that 23 should not have been applied. But since it is applied, I will assess the loss both ways. With exclusions, with 23, as well as without 23. And give the option to the insurers. They may take it the way they had intended. to issue the policy.
Sir, but
Is it-
if I say in that way, already they have mentioned in the policy that policy has been issued for a vehicle with less than and equal to 6 passengers. That means it is a taxi policy. And in that endorsement, he has mentioned as this 22 is there. 22 gives the
Yes.
endorsement towards the compulsory access which covers
Right.
it for a taxi. So I can mention it that since already the coverage is for less than or equal to 6 passengers and IMT 22
Right.
is also there, it overrules the wrong IMT 23 given on the policy. Why to then go for the IMT 23 assessment? I can
No,
overrule that giving to
as-
the
As a matter of fact, they have applied 22, 23. 22 is just a compulsory access, which is also figuring in 23. So instead of overruling anything, I think because we have to honor the policy, we have to give both the assessments and leave it to the insurers how they treat it. I think this is the best way of.
But sir, my contention is that IMT 22 specifically mentions only compulsory access for private cars as well as to the taxis only, whereas the compulsory access for other commercial vehicles falls under the IMT 21, because IMT 21 specifically mentions about the compulsory deductibles also, whereas this compulsory deductible for commercial vehicles is nowhere figured in IMT 22. It is only for the taxi and the private car. So since IMT 23 clearly explains that it is deductible for private cars and taxis only, so I can say that we can overlook the IMT 23 mentioned in the policy.
If there is any ambiguity in the policy, we should not try to draw conclusions. There is a conflicting endorsement, 22 and 23, and you are right, 23 is not applicable to this as per tariff. But if insurers have done anything, we cannot overrule them or we cannot question their judgment. We have to simply give the facts and leave it to them. This is what I finally find in this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have Mr. Om Prakash Sharmaji. Sharmaji, you have to unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
RP Gupta, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Sir, normally now our parts are come as side body, bonnet side parts are come as a fender. Should we take fender as a that part to be taken under IMT 23, sir?
Sir,
Or we
fender
should go
will-
with the nomenclature only?
Yes, nomenclature is very important, of course, but this fender, then in certain cases, we do need to apply our mind. To my mind, fender, as it comes in Tata vehicles 4018 and other big this thing. So this side trim, we call it.
Yes.
This is akin to be classified as a mudguard or something like that, but
Very
it is definitely not bonnet side part. It is definitely not bonnet side part, but it is this fender or side trim or whatever we call it is. It can, by some stretch of imagination, be classified as a mudguard.
Right,
This
sir.
is-
So mudguard is also under IMT 23.
Yes, sir. This is also.
Now, sir, just as you stated in your that very good presentation that the LPT and these are LPT trucks and buses
Yes.
where mudguards are shown in your
Mudguards are-
picture.
Mudguards are there, but
Okay.
bonnet side parts are vanished from this.
Okay.
design.
Okay. That
bonnet side
that
parts
will become under mudguard, sir. Now about
Yes,
the
yes.
headlight and lamps, the new that clarification about the headlamps instead of lamps.
Clarification, they have just lamps includes headlights also, but since they have written there is no harm in this, we can say just for the sake of clarification they have written. I take it that way also, as I have explained in my presentation also, that now you see in high-end cars, these LED lights and projector lights are coming with electronic cars.
Yes, sir.
Those may not be taken as out of lamps. So they have just highlighted these headlights also.
Okay,
And
sir.
this is just a clarification. This is just a
Right, sir.
clarification.
Very
Thank you.
right, sir. So, like FUDs will not be included, sir.
FUPD is
FUPD?
not bumper. Yes, no, it is not bumper. FUPD is there, SUPD is there, RUPD is there. So these are not. These are the latest latest innovations, you can say, just for safety of others.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for nice presentation, sir.
Thank
Lot
you,
of
sir.
the doubts have been cleared today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome.
Next participant, Mr. Rajmani Sharma. You have to unmute yourself. Mr. Shashi Bhushan. Mr. UPS Sachdeva. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you very much.
Hanji Sachdeva ji, good afternoon.
सचदेव जी आप वापिस अपने आप को म्यूट कर दिया है, अनम्यूट करो.
Shashi Bhushan ji, can you are online? Please ask your question.
Mr. Gupta, you have presented excellent paper, but as an expert, will you think that we should in future we should go for a lesser IMT policy, and so that and higher access policy under this segment, because due to so many IMT and confusion and conception, the business is of this motor is not increasing.
You are right, sir. As you might be remembering, recently IRDA had appointed some working groups, and some of our ISLA members, ex or current contemporary, they had asked my views also. So I had given certain views on these lines, that there should be a minimum scope of such additions or exclusions and all these things, and there should be a standard policy where real security can be given, financial security can be provided to the insured. You are right, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But one thing is very important. Those machinery which are tools, and the risk is a tool of in nature, and you are excluding the risk by endorsement 47. Most of the owner of that machine are not knowing about the exclusion.
Right. This is why there is a case, as you said, to eliminate these, minimize these exclusions or minimize these endorsements. You are right. But then this is a question of marketing also. They want to meet requirements of different kinds of people and all these things. And then, of course, there are pros and cons on every aspect.
Thank you.
Mr.
Once again, thanks for your excellent paper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next question, Mr. UPS Sachdeva. Please ask your question.
Thank you, Gupta ji, for your excellent presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I want to know that bonnet side parts includes bezels, headlight bezels, and corners what are coming these days with the vehicle?
Bonnet side parts, actually, if it is S type of vehicle, where
Not the, now
these-
headlight bezels. Headlight is not covered. Headlight bezels and corners in the LP type vehicles. Is it covered?
first is headlight bezels. Headlight bezels are covered. These are parts of the body, not of the headlight. One thing.
Okay.
And now second is corners. Corners of bumpers.
No corners of bonnet side parts. Today we are going to bumper corner and bumpers upper corners on the panel, side panel. There are side panels and there are some corners, only corner.
No, in LP models it is payable. Corner is payable in LP model. In S model it is not payable.
Thank you.
It comes under.
And one next question is in United India there is a nil dep policy and they are covering engine protection add-on.
Right.
There are two types of engine protection in nil dep policy.
Shall we take this question in another session because it is not of this session, please, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
UPSG. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, Gupta sir.
Yes, sir.
There is a question from a member of my area. Whether any insurers, PSU insurers, having a specific circular stating that they are waiving the 50% deduction of 23.
Pardon, sir. I just.
Is there any circular of PSUs is in existence stating that they are waiving the IMT 23 deduction, the 50% deduction under IMT 23? Regarding
yes, sir. I told you, United India and Oriental Insurance Company, they are also using 23 as an endorsement, and then in nil dep clause they say 50% under endorsement 23 is also to be waived. That is not to be charged.
Is it mentioned in the circular, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So next question, Mr. Suresh. Mr. KB Manchanda. Mr. Harmesh Raichand.
Harmesh ji, you are self-muted. You have to unmute yourself so you can ask the question. Mr. Kashi Gupta.
Yes, sir.
Please ask your question.
हेलो
Right.
सर, मैं
yes, sir.
IMT 23 के लिए एक चीज कंफर्म करना चाहता हूँ कि ये 6+1 टैक्सीज के लिए एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा ना सर?
Actually, the definition of motor car is 6+1.
Yes.
So car type taxi is 6+1. To my mind, up to 6+1 it is okay. It falls under car type taxi.
Okay, so IMT 23 will not applicable for that, na sir?
No. More than 6+1, then IMT 23 will come into effect.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we have covered all the questions. I once again thank you, Gupta sir. And thank you all the participants, thank you all the members, and thank you team Training and Education for completing this 50th webinar.
Thank you, everyone. Big congratulations to Team ISLA, especially Sachin sir, for this Golden Jubilee webinar. And congratulations to RP Gupta sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you also.
So thank you. We are signing off here. Thank you, everybody.
Have a nice day.